To all of you. Myself, Dr. Suryanarayan Datta, Assistant Professor from College of Fisheries, Guru Angad Dev Veterinary and Animal Sciences, University, Ludhiana. On behalf of College of Fisheries, Guru Angad Dev Veterinary and Animal Science, University, Ludhiana, I heartily welcome Dr. Ramaiah N. Sir, retired Chief Scientist, Department of Biological Oceanography, CSIR National Institute of Oceanography, NIO, Goa, on this webinar on advances in oceanography and marine biology, jointly organized by IDP Cell, GADVASU, and College of Fisheries, Guru Angad Dev Veterinary and Animal Sciences University. We are very much thankful, sir. Just in spite of your busy schedule, you have accepted our invitation. Once again, thank you and welcome you. I welcome also Dr. Jitendra Kumar, Dr. Prabjit Singh, and other faculty members and members of IDP cell. So before starting the presentation, I would like to introduce Dr. Ramaiah sir with you. Dr. Ramaiah, an eminent oceanographer, pursued his BFSc and MFSc from College of Fisheries, Bangalore, Karnataka, and PhD from University of Jabalpur. Sir has over 35 years professional expertise in the field of marine biology, environmental impact assessment, and modeling to predict environmental impact on fisheries sector. He served in various capacities as chief scientist in CSIR National Institute of Oceanography, NIO, Goa, and has participated more than 25 national and international research expeditions. He also served as summer team member to 10th Indian expedition to Antarctica and dynamically involved in formulating various rules and policies associated with sustainable development of marine ecology and marine biology. At present, Dr. Ramaiah involved in many R&D activities in marine microbiology and biotechnology also. Apart from his administrative assignments, he also guided 59 postgraduate students and published more than 200 research papers in different journals of national and international reputes. Dr. Ramaiah also involved in finalizing various schemes and policies for the sustainable development of marine fisheries in the country. So once again, I welcome you, sir, and also inviting you for presentation.
For a very warm introduction. I'm very pleased and happy. The best part is that you guys, especially Dr. Jitendra, Prabjit, in the morning, you welcomed me so very heartily. And I'm grateful that I have an opportunity of interacting virtually now. Hopefully in the future, we can have an interaction that could be more close to, the students. I have always liked to be sharing what I have learned to the student community because I have learned from our teachers similarly. And with this background, what I will do is I'll now share my screen and go ahead with my presentation. Yes, good morning, students. I hope you are having a very cozy weather in Punjab and like in Goa, we are having a little warmer time this year. It is not cool so far, excepting a couple of days now. And I thank Jitendra and Dr. Datta and Prabjit for really. Can you hear me? Is that clear, madam? Can you hear me? You tell me yes or no.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Please go ahead. Sir.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, you see, if there is any interruption, please let me know. Jitendra, you can say hold on by showing the hand. Yeah, so that will be easier for easy to follow. So yeah, I was just thanking you people, and then I would like to come to the topic. Today, Dr. Jitendra asked me to give a talk on an introduction to oceanography and marine biology. So, and also in the seminar, the advance is a very large term. So therefore, what in oceanography is as vast as the ocean itself. It covers 71% of the land mass. Therefore, what I'll do in the next 45 minutes or so would be an introduction and a few overviews in which the students of oceanography, which they want to, as fisheries graduates, pursue in future. My presentation outline will involve a general introduction, a brief description on oceanography. I'll spend about 5 to 8 minutes on why oceanography and what it can do to the people, and especially the fisheries graduates, why they should know about the oceans is my emphasis. Then, what are the major areas of research in ocean aspects of marine biology? And because you're all fisheries graduates, there should be a linkage to this vast water body through understanding the fish stock and how they are sustaining our economies. So that is my overall presentation outline. I hope all of you can see this slide, and I have given a very strange title for this aspect: the odds and odds of planet question mark ocean. So why planet? Why supposing that our ancestors knew that the water body is much larger than the earth portion of it, maybe they would have called it planet Sagar, for example, in India, and or planet Aqua, some such name. So therefore, the water that is encompassing 71% of the Earth's surface is very, very, very massive. If you look at the left side of your slide here, that is the vertical profiling of the ocean from the very top surface layer to the deepest portion, which is about 11,022 meters. If you looked at it, your sun is only for a very short depth of something like 200 meters, and there is a diffused light to up to 1,000 meters. And previous people thought that the life below no light zone, there is nothing called life. That is what was called the aphotic and no life zone. But people have now found out that even at the 11,022 meters, there is life kicking and fantastic, which we have not really understood its metabolism physiology. So all of us eat salt in our daily meals. I don't want to take more time because it's going to be a big thing to talk about it. Let me tell you this clearly. At a 5-gram average consumption per person per day, in India, we require something like 3,000 tons of salt every day, which means salt is a big business in the country. I explained, the light is only up to 1000 meters in diffused condition, and the top 122 surface is the most important zone of light. That is where the later will take place. The seawater, because of its weight, with increasing depth, the pressure increases. At the bottom of so much, just to give a comparison, a 48 jumbo jets on a little finger. Can you imagine the quantity of pressure that can be felt? That is the pressure. So for every 10 meters increase in depth, there is 1 atmospheric pressure rise in pressure, which means a pressure cooker visual is at 1 atmosphere. So you can imagine at 11,000 meters, it is 1100 pressure cookers all at a time in one pressure giving out the pressure. That is the kind of a thing. The temperature, which is around 28 to 32 degrees in the surface, decreases so much at the bottom of the ocean. It will be less than 2 degrees Celsius, cooler than what we are experiencing in Punjab today. There are microscopic plants in the ocean, unlike the land. You see a lot of trees, call them phytoplankton, and there are mineral nutrients. Supposing that like on the land, more nutrients, what is happening in the land was present, the life and the productivity of the oceans would have been much more higher. And because of the low light, that is, the light is only limited to the top 120 meters to produce photosynthetically, and because there is low night nutrients, you don't have too much of ocean production that happens. So now, what is oceanography? What do the oceans offer? What is this question of why do we have to study oceans and at all, and why do we have the urge to study that? What's so great about it? And what some of the thoughts that you people should have is a multidisciplinary science. It is not just biology, it's not just physics, it's not just geology or chemistry. It is the combined will study the currents, the tides, the waves, the color, the light, and temperature, salinity. Whereas the chemical oceanographer will study the nutrient distribution, the gases in the CO, dissolved gases. Like all of you as students of fisheries know that there is dissolved oxygen in the water. There are more than 15 different dissolved gases in the seawater. And the biological oceanographers are interested in understanding the life and its processes. Similarly, the geologists are interested in the mineral resources and how the matter is transported from the top layer into the deep ocean. And the fuel, the petroleum products that we are extracting from Bombay High and even the Gulf region are all once upon a time the ocean-based products, not expecting them. The undecomposed organic matter sunk to the bottom through chemical. The term oceanography should strike not just saying that it's in a way accurately describing the very science of it. And the oceanographers do also need engineering, meteorologists, mathematicians, statisticians, and computer science. Oceanography is a wholesome science. Therefore, there is a need for everyone, including policymakers, to participate. see, Ocean Quest did not nutrition problem from the land, wanted to go settle more near the coast. Therefore, we have more density of population near the coast than what is that? How do I get this screen? Manish, can you please come here quickly and then make my screen that I can see?
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. It's visible.
Yes, thank you. See, the people had a huge quest from time immemorial, and then actually systematic oceanography started sometime in the 17th century. And one of the famous Challenger expedition, the British were ruling India at that time, and there was okay. Can you hear now? Yeah, they organized a thing on the left side, the top corner. You see a ship which was propelled using the sailors and also some kind of a coal-based motor, and they could go around the entire world oceans. You can see that red line in the bottom thing. They started from England, took this. Can you see my arrow moving, Jitendra?
Yeah, yes, sir. It's coming, sir.
Yeah, so they went around and then came to this thing. Kindly note that when they came back after 4 years, after stopping here and there, they did not cover much of the Indian Ocean region. But then the first time we came to understand the chemical composition of seawater, distribution of life forms at all depths. These are the people who said that life is there even at the deepest depths. And the studies on coastal and ocean currents were understood. The water is not a stable body. Currents are responsible for moving a lot of things, the fish larvae included. When your third year or fourth year graduate students want to study oceanography, they will be saying that the larval distribution happens through the help of ocean currents. And then there was also the geologists who understood. There were six scientists worked very hard to collect a lot of data from this. In fact, Challenger expedition reports were in more than 50 big volumes. Same thing happened with Indian Ocean expedition, which I'll not touch. The modern oceanography started somewhere in the 1900s, and NIO, the premier institution in the country, was born in the year 1966, and in the year 2016, we completed 50 years. And in a few slides next, I will be talking about some of the most important contribution our institution has done. For those of you students, I want to tell you that oceanography is a great career and fisheries science is the most welcome. And let me tell you here that I was a fisheries graduate. I graduated my master's and joined the biological oceanography. And from then on, I must honestly tell that I've enjoyed working in this great organization. And then modern oceanography is not only comfortable, but it's a very expensive science. Supposing that I don't know how much the first year, second year students have learned about sampling in the ocean and or in the lakes. If you are going into the lake, you will find that you have to hire a boat, take a water sampler and collect it from different depth. And one day boat hire charges is going to be 10 to 12,000 rupees. And therefore, if you took 10-liter water, every liter of water is 1,000 rupees. Whereas a ship on the bottom right corner is our own India ship. If we go to 2,000 meters and collect a water sample of just we can collect about 2 to 3 liters from there, every 1 liter water will cost you already 100,000 rupees. So therefore, oceanography is a costly science. Therefore, when you do a money investment, you should get good returns. These days, the satellite have come to help by collecting a lot of surface ocean data, which the biologists also benefit from. I can answer your questions if you have something like that. The marine habitats are too many. In fact, from your very coastline where people are standing on the left corner here, even before the coastline, you have these some mangroves and vegetation that is growing. If you go a little shallower, you get the coral reefs. You go a little deeper, you have a lot of old coral reefs. And if you go very deep, you have the blue dark water, and there are some fishes. But in the deepest, what is called sea floor spreading places, there are the high temperature sulfides gush to the surface. There is also varieties of different life. We call them hydrothermal vents and hydrothermal organisms. See, as commoners, we will never appreciate the vastness of the ocean. Of the 71% of the surface accounts for 365 million square kilometers of the area. The waters are up to 11 kilometer deep. The ocean is the Earth's largest ecosystem, and it contains bacteria to whales. So therefore, there is a variety of life, and then I'll be introducing a few of them in my next slides. And it offers many benefits. Our you whatever water rainwater you receive in Punjab as the rainwater is because of the surface evaporation on the sea and winds moving into the ocean onto the land, and only a part of the rain is received. All the green that we get from our land is thanks to the water that is the seawater evaporated and rained into onto the land. So therefore, it's our heritage. We should never lose it for any reason. Therefore, we should not be polluting it. We should take care of this ecosystem, which is the largest on the surface of the earth, and continue to benefit from it for times to come. This is the picture of Indian Ocean. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Please.
Okay, thank you. This is the picture of the Indian Ocean. You can see in the center, I have put varieties of pictures to make you understand. Indian Ocean is the very smallest of the three large oceans. The Pacific, the largest, the Atlantic, next large, the Indian Ocean, the smaller, 70 million square kilometers in area, and Antarctic and Arctic are marginal seas, in fact. So see, it has unlike the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean, which are open to both poles, the Indian Ocean is landlocked in the north. There is no connection to the pole, North Pole, whereas it has the touch to the Antarctic. And that's how we Indians can go to Antarctica more easily by the ships. Although now we have program in the Arctic. The India is one of the leading oceanography researchers in the world. We have contributed significantly. If although oceanography is only 50 years old in this part of the world, we are ranked number 7 in the world. If you, for those of you students interested, you go to libraries and see there are institutions which have completed close to 175 years in the US, Canada, Japan, and also Europe. Whereas with this 50 years and the churning of the Indian Ocean, like the Samudra Manthan, we are ranked more than 7th in the World Committee of Oceanographers. That's a great news. And then you can also know that the Indian monsoon is driven by the evaporation, as I explained, and many major rivers drain into it. On the west coast, you are all the Punjab joining the Sindh, Indus will get into the Arabian Sea, the Ganges, the Brahmaputra, Kaveri will join into the Bay of Bengal on the right side of your screen. So the bottom flasher is the chlorophyll concentration. As biologists, we should be interested, what is the synoptic view of the chlorophyll that is present? And based on thousands of spots that you see when the screen is stationary, that the samples have come from there, and the chlorophyll is analyzed and put to understand the productivity of the ocean. The greener portions, sometimes you see on the screen, are highly productive, just to remember that. The blue water that you see in the bottom portion is the biological desert. Not much production happens. And on the top right side, you see the monsoon cloud covering. The meteorologists have a huge say in predicting the rains that happen across the Indian subcontinent. And I think we have completed the rains from the Arabian Sea side. Sometimes up to January, we will be getting some rains coming from the Bay of Bengal side. That's why India is blessed with two monsoons, and we should therefore be thankful to the ocean that is surrounding us. Um, in the next slide, you see the CSR NIO is the premier institution doing the oceanographic research in this country. There are many other universities, and then also a lot of other institutions under the Ministry of Earth Sciences have come. And therefore, you guys, students, if you are looking at a career in aquatic biology, all these institutions are useful for you. So keep your mind open. Punjab is a great place because you have a lot of water there. You can grow a lot of fish, but also you can venture into seeing the sea and being career oceanographers if you so want. And we have three other centers other than Goa. That is one in Mumbai, very modern building, and we have built a circular building in Kochi, and we have in Vishakhapatnam in the East Coast another center. A lot of new research is coming from these areas, and we have currently two wonderful ships on which our scientists go and collect a lot of data on physics, chemistry, biology, geology, geophysics of the oceans. And then these things are important. For example, you see the Sindhu Sadhana is the most modern ship built in 2013, can take about 29 scientists and can be on the sea for 45 days. That is called the endurance. And the length overall is 80 meters and the speed of about 26 kilometers an hour, which means that you can be on the water. 26 kilometers is a big speed, not like Punjab roads, which can go up to 150. It's the sea is rough, and then to cross the force of the ocean is not easy. Therefore, getting 26 miles is a good event. There are many research areas that are of interest. I will not read them because of the want of time, and also the technical hitch has created confusion. There are ocean processes that we understand through the understanding of the circulation in the northern Indian Ocean, the long-term variability of sea level. Sea level is important. I don't know how many of you have heard of Dwarka in Punjab, Gujarat. The sea level has fluctuated several times in the last 5,000 years. And people have to understand what is the sea level link that can happen. The sea level rise these days is connected to global warming. When the sea ice in the polar regions melt, and then because they become water, because the surface is like this, the sea level will rise. A 1 meter rise of sea level will sink half of Panjim. Some of you, if you have seen Goa, you will know that it's a beautiful place, but then if the sea level rises, it is a bad thing. NIO is interested in understanding how much is the sea level that is rising and what kind of problems that can be created because of that in both East and West Coast. We understand the ocean environment. We study the coastal processes through understanding the wind speeds, wave heights, current direction and strength, the low tide, high tide problems, their influence on coastal biology, geomorphology. Coastal erosion is a big issue. A 1 kilometer long coast, if it is every day, a 1 million ton of sediment is removed, you are going to have in 10 days 3 to 4 kilometer wipe out of the coastal belt, which is very dangerous for the land people inside. Therefore, people understand the coastal dynamics and advise how to protect and how to kind of repair the coastal erosion. We as biologists have been doing a lot of work, and there is also though because you are going to have a lot of biology background, there is in marine biology you can understand the taxonomy, you can come to do biotechnology, there are lots of enzymes, the fish food organisms, all of this can be understood by studying oceanography. And then we have a lot of pollution problem. You guys may be sitting in Punjab, some of the waste produced finally reach the ocean. Therefore, you please don't pollute there so that our waters are clean. I'm not telling only to you, I'm also telling the people all around the globe that I have met not to pollute anywhere so that the pollution is not a problem for a long time. Your grandchildren will suffer the mercury poison that we may do today. Therefore, be careful. And we also have a lot of research on marine minerals. Then we are looking at the energy from sea. In the bottom right bottom corner, you see a white and brownish covered solid matter. It's a core of what we call gas hydrate. The gas hydrate, a 1 cubic meter of gas hydrate contains 165 cubic meters of liquefied natural gas that we use in cooking gas, and also you can convert that into fuels. So therefore, the NIO has found reservoirs of gas hydrates in the ocean, which can be the future prospect for energy alternative. And in the middle of the picture slide, you see here is polymetallic nodules. We find them at the depth of about 5,000 meters. And from our scientists in geological oceanography were the first in the country to pick up the manganese nodule. And today, India is owning about 75,000 square kilometers of area. It's exclusive property right for us to go and harvest all these polymetallic nodules, which are rich in manganese, iron, copper, cobalt, and nickel. And these are, some of them are not available on the earth. In particular, cobalt, which is a strategically important metal, we can benefit from harnessing this. With, mind you guys, it's extremely costly affair. Therefore, we have to be looking for alternates. And if we don't find any, in order to have security of the country, if we have to use it to protect us, we may have to do the mining in the future. And then on the top portion in this picture, I want to tell you, it's a sand in a black color. It's called ilmenite. Ilmenite contains thorium, which is a nuclear material, which can be used for producing your nuclear fuels. So therefore, NIO is contributing. Not only NIO, oceanographic research world over is interested in contributing to the betterment of the mankind, not only in terms of life and fisheries, but also in terms of mineral and chemical resources. I told you the best example, every day we eat in this part of the world. I don't know in Punjab if you eat the Himalayan rock salt, but we in Goa consume the sea salt, which is a 3,000 ton consumer every day in the country. You can imagine that. And also we have the geophysics, the earthquake happening in the oceans are studied by our geophysicists. We also developed some of the instruments useful in weather station, automatic weather station, to be put on the sea, and people can monitor that. Now I turn my attention on marine biology, marine ecology, and biological oceanography. See, you as the fisheries graduates, you should know what is aquatic biology, what is aquatic ecology, and what is aquatic ecological process. So this will clearly tell you how good you can be in terms of distinguishing when a person says aquatic biology versus an aquatic ecology. Similarly, aquatic ecological processes. So look at the left side of the screen that is displayed. Marine biology is occupied in studying the organisms in the ocean and other marine or brackish water bodies. Brackish is low saline estuarine waters. I'm not defining any of those terms because of the lack of time. If you want me to explain, call me in the question answer time. The marine biology encompasses taxonomy of the organisms and their classification, and then their evaluation of their anatomy and physiology and biochemistry, and also the organisms that range from bacteria to the whales are the part of the biological understanding. Whereas ecology is the understanding of the how these organisms interact with each other and also with their environment. Same as what is aquatic ecology, what you learn in your general course. And then there are, as you saw in the first slide, there is such a lot of difference in the depth. Even the ocean is the near coast ocean is called near shore, offshore are the little faraway places called pelagic or ocean offshore. And then if you go vertically, there is pelagic and then mesopelagic, yeah, and then go down to deep abyssal and then hadal. Like this, there are classification of the very water column itself. And there is also the many organisms that live attached to or associated with bottom. We call them benthos. So they are also there. And that is the ecology of these organisms interaction with their ecosystem and with that of them within their community. For example, for their own reproduction, their own chasing away the enemies that are coming to eat, their own food, they have to chase the food to eat. In ocean, the philosophy is the one eats the other eats the other. That is how the life continues. That is what is also called the food chain in a simple way. There are ecological habits like coral reefs, kelp forests. Kelp is a seaweed grown into meters of length, and it's not much in this part of the world. But in Gujarat, we do have kelp forests. Sea grasses are there, which are good food for. There is an animal called sea cow or the dugong, which feeds on it. And then there are also sea mounts in the deep ocean. They're like the Himalaya underwater. You can imagine that kind of a subsurface, different features are there. Thermal vents, the hydrothermal vent, I showed you one. There are small tide pools, which can also be ecologically interesting. And people are also studying these things a great deal, because going out into the ocean, even for 5 meters, you need a boat. Therefore, it's a costly experiment. People most of the time study what are called coastal ecosystem studies. The biological oceanography is looking at the processes that are influencing the biology. The physics, chemistry influence various. For example, if the water is very cold, you can't have the fish that is living in warm water there. The physical temperature inhibits that. But the organisms do adapt and live. There are bacteria which are living in the deep depth there, and they are going to be working with the cold water, but very slowly. That is what is called adaptation, and that biological oceanography understands that. Similarly, there are environment specialization basis. Our all this production and other things are based on this. Now, this is a slide that I want you to think when you go home. Human is always giving something or the other to the ocean, and he is always taking something or the other from the ocean. What he gives is pollution and wastes, and sometimes some good nutrient, because after all, not everything is a pollutant. This sewage pollution, if it is in a small quantity, it is going to help the nutrient enrichment in the ocean. That's the give is pollution mostly. Take is fish, salt, rainwater, you name it. And also he uses it for transoceanic shipping. The ships traverse across the ocean. So therefore, there is so much. And therefore, you must have the socio-economic consideration, the governance aspect of it. How do you protect the ecosystem from the pollution and keep it healthy? How do you monitor the productivity of the ocean? Is all part of the human endeavor. It should be that way. But then the food chains and food webs are the words that are normally used in your ecosystem studies. The food chain is the one that linearly a phytoplankton is eaten by a zooplankton, and the zooplankton is eaten by a small fish, and a small fish is eaten by a medium-sized fish, and medium-sized fishes are eaten again by a large-sized fish. Is a linear food chain. Whereas there are some jellyfish which are zooplankton, but they can also engulf some small-sized fishes. That cuts complication. That is why it's called food web. I will not give the more than that detail for this. And this is the philosophy that one should understand. It applies even to the aquatic ecology. Therefore, I put it here. Life at sea can require only the solar insulation from inside. All other things it can manufacture and work by itself. It doesn't need anything more. So you can see the phytoplankton can do even nitrogen fixation, and the chlorophyll will help in photo adaptation and then photosynthesis. And then if they are dead, the bacteria work on it and release the nutrients necessary for it to again regrow. This phytoplankton, when eaten by the zooplankton, and then that is called the grazing food path, in which the zooplankton are again defecating, and the defecation is decomposed by bacteria, most of it, and that is again brought back into cycle in the top layer. What is that MLD you see here is the mixed layer depth. That is where most of the productivity of the ocean happens, and this is very abundantly an important feature. And the life at sea is abundant, is present everywhere, very diverse. It's much more diverse than what we see on the land. Self-sustaining, like I said, all you need is sunlight. The rest of it, the life in the ocean can manage by itself. It can also be a great climate controller. Why is a great climate controller? For example, when photosynthesis happens, the carbon dioxide is fixed by the chlorophyll uh, possessing phytoplankton. This phytoplankton taking the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, it is called the drawdown of the atmosphere. And therefore, all our pollution through carbon dioxide, that is increasing of the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, to a large extent, the ocean absorbs that carbon dioxide through photosynthesis, and when the phytoplankton produce so much, part of it is eaten and part of it is remineralized. Most of it is formed as detritus and sinks into the deep portion of the ocean, which will not be very quickly available back to recirculation or recycling. Therefore, the part that is held up, even if it is in small quantity, because the ocean surface being so much, is so important in controlling the climate. Imagine that we have been using so many vehicles without the help from the sea. By now, the carbon dioxide, I don't know how many of you know, currently it's already 420 ppm. By now, it would be, in the last 50 years onwards, it would have crossed easily 600 ppm, which is very bad. When the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is high, the warming is so high, and you are very uncomfortable. You age fast, you die soon. That is what happens if you don't have the ocean help. And the life forms are autotrophic like phytoplankton, heterotrophic like bacteria and whales. The microscopic phytoplankton to bacteria to many zooplankton are microscopic, and megaloscopic is large size from your fishes. I don't know if you've eaten mackerel from the ocean, tuna you may have heard, and you will learn more of the third year and second year and first year students, you may learn later on. But there are more than 4,000 different species of fish which will be caught, and not all of them, some are caught and some are eaten in this part of the world. And whales are also present there. The new molecules are possible from the biological system in the ocean, therefore they can be new age biotech spinners. And what more else? You have to be keeping on looking for that. And of course, this is a very repeated slide. I will not go back to that. Just to give you one small number, in 2019, last year, the global income from the ocean biology was 30 trillion tons. India is 3 trillion ton economy. US is 16 trillion ton economy. Chinese are about 12, Japanese about 8, other people. See, the ocean economy equals to all these 5 countries' name I took. So that is the value of ocean biology in the thing. The marine bacteria or marine biota are very important for several reasons. They are living in the harsh conditions. They are very adaptable, and then they can also do a lot of metal recyclability. Therefore, they are useful in bioremediation and environmentally safe. You can use them for cleaning the molasses waste in Punjab refineries, using the bacteria from the coast, fungus from the coast, the microalgae from the coast. So therefore, they're because they're able to tolerate salt, they're very good bioremediators and biotechnology help. And then there is, whether you like it or not, human being may not have an ecological role, which is advantageous, but even the tiniest bacteria to the largest whale, they have a one or the other important help they do to the ocean. Say, for example, bacteria decompose the organic matter and give back the nutrients. The whales, which eat about 1 ton fish every day, can digest so much food, and when their defecated matter comes into the ocean, that's a good nutrient for the phytoplankton to grow. And also, for your information, they degas so much, and they contain methane in their belly when it is all only the krill and other things they eat. Therefore, they're very interesting creature. You want to find out what is their gas concentration in the thing. So in the next 4-5 slides, what I'll do is I'll tell the important roles of the bacteria, the phytoplankton, the microzooplankton, the zooplankton in the ocean system. I don't know if you have any microbiology background. Yeah, our normal fresh water, if you take from the sea in the you go to Bass or Satellite river, and you pick up 1 milliliter water and counted the bacteria, they may not be more than 10,000 bacterial cells. Whereas if you come into the ocean, even in the very coastal water, you take 1 ml seawater and you count, there will be 1 million bacterial cells. So therefore, if you counted all the bacteria in the entire water column of the world oceans, you have 10 raised to 30 billion, 10 raised to 30 cells, which is 10 million trillion, which is a big number. Actually, I don't know how many of you are used to calling crore. 1 crore is 10 raised to 8 units. 10 crores is that correct, Manish? 10 raised to 8 is 7. 10 raised to 7 is a crore. 10 raised to in English billion, it's 10 raised to 9 is a billion. 10 raised to 12 is a trillion. The Indian economy we are talking is ending at 10 raised to 12 rupees. You see, or dollars. I'm sorry, dollars. It may be about 10 raised to 14 rupees. So Bill Gates or somebody like that, we call them the richest man on earth, and this, that. Their dollars stand at 10 raised to 10. Look at this bacteria. The power of exponential power you must appreciate. That is such a big thing. And then bacteria, this is a photograph I'm showing from one microscopic field. We have very special stains to do this job. And when you put under the microscope, each rod-shaped bacteria is this. In this one microscopic field view, you have already 300 bacterial cells. So you can compare, therefore, when I say this has come from a part of a milliliter. Therefore, you can imagine when I say 10 raised to 30 cells are there in the world ocean, you must believe. And then if you spread thin 1 microliter, 1 micrometer thin 1 liter seawater, you have 70% of that surface area occupied by bacteria alone. The rest of the whale, wall, everything you want to imagine is only occupying about 30% of the rest of the space. The bacteria are so important in the water column. They are present all over, from the surface micro layer to the deep, and they can be very diverse. We do not know what is the total number of different species of bacteria existing in the seawater even today, although modern molecular biology talks a great deal. They call the bags of enzymes. You name an enzyme which is important in catabolic reaction, they are present in there. And all the, if you take about 10,000 different species of bacteria, you look for the enzymes, one or the other species will contain the special enzyme that is useful for any application in curing diseases, in curing pollution, in increasing the industrial production, fermentation, etc. They can utilize a huge quantity of different types of nutrition. They can even work on the metal ion and derive energy. They're called chemolithotrophs. And then they have, in the seawater, there is not much food available all the time. Therefore, they have to be hungry for even a year. And after that, if something is coming, they very quickly put the enzymes out into the water by sensing what enzyme to put out. And they collect that material from outside and then digest that inside for some kind of growth later on. And then they can assimilate dissolved organic matter, which is the most important quality. Unlike many other forms of life, they become very important in sustaining life. And then they can also, there is called a labile dissolved organic carbon that is made into resistant dissolved organic carbon, which helps in climate control. I can explain later. Phytoplankton, you see on the right bottom corner of the varieties of shapes from the ocean. There are diatoms, there are dinoflagellates, there are silicoflagellates, there are radiolarians, different types. And they are on the pyramid of food chain, they're at the bottom of the food chain. And the zooplankton feed on them, and the small fish on them, the bigger fish on the small fish, and finally predators eat this. And they're very important. I think you will understand later on what a billion ton of carbon means. In the total Earth's surface, something like 70 billion tons of carbon is fixed and modulated every year, of which 40 billion tons is modulated by phytoplankton, which means they do the photosynthetic activity much more than the land plants and trees and also the mangroves. So therefore, the phytoplankton are so important. They are the food for zooplankton, as I said. They indicate water masses and currents and fisheries. In the why fisheries, there is one species called Fragillaria oceanica. When the Fragillaria is a high number in our coastal waters, we can expect that the sardines are coming. So that way they are indicators of some big fish. And then big fisheries. They contribute to sinking of organic matter, and they have varieties of application. And the satellite oceanographers have come very helpful because we cannot go and measure every inch of the ocean. The synaptic view has been helpful in understanding the chlorophyll concentration and distribution month-wise, day-wise, hour-wise, and people collect everything and pull them together and give you a synaptic view for years on. This is a running slide which will tell you for the last about 1996 to 2013, how the chlorophyll month on month behaved can be run and then understood. This kind of data collection is helpful in predicting the future fishery. That is why this satellite oceanography, especially for biological oceanographers, is come very handy. And you can also calculate what is the chlorophyll variability in the surface by, for example, the yellow boxed Northeast Arabian Sea region, the variability is so much. In some, this is the average in the middle, dark and the white spot thing. And that's how you understand how the chlorophyll behaved. And therefore you can, using this data, because we know that for every 100 grams of chlorophyll produced, there is 10 grams zooplankton possible. For every 10 grams zooplankton produced, there is 1 gram fish coming. Therefore, by knowing what is the chlorophyll concentration in this thing, you can roughly estimate what is the fish potential in the given region. And these are different sized phytoplankton. If you have what is called the flow cam microscope, you can really measure the small minutest spaces and understand how in the pre-monsoon the same species of phytoplankton was looking, which size was small, and in the monsoon when there is high nutrient, the same thing looks so big. So therefore, this is also, this information can be used in understanding when the climate change happens, the phytoplankton don't get a lot of nutrition. Therefore, they will be having small size. When there is small size, there will not be enough food for the fish that is feeding on. Therefore, there can be impact on fisheries. That is how we can understand that. And there are zooplankton, which will be plenty varieties. 36,000 different species of zooplankton are there. They are distributed widely, and they are the primary link to the fishes from the phytoplankton, and therefore they are also very important. As I said, there are 36,000 species. I hope all of you students learn this zooplankton biology and things like that. What is finally take-home message in this is that zooplankton are the most important link for transferring the energy from the primary level to the fish level, that is tertiary level. The human beings catch the small size fish and eat, and the big size fish and eat. And in fact, human is the only unwise species because they do not know how much to catch. They catch in greed and lose the stock. That is my worry and fear of the future. And we can collect using different things. For example, this is a zooplankton net towed at the surface to collect the surface, this one. This is a zooplankton net which can be sent up to any depth in the ocean. We call it the multiple plankton net, and collect the sample at discrete depth. It has opening and closing mechanism such that you open the net, the first net is opened till 500 meters, from 1000 meter to 500 meter, and that is closed at this depth. Therefore, you collect the zooplankton from 1000 to 500 meters. And when you close this net, the second one in series, you will open and collect the sample from 500 meter to 300 meter. We call it as the bottom of the thermocline. Thermocline is the thing that you must have already understood. And then the third net will collect from the one in the bottom of the thermocline, and the next one is in the thermocline, next one in the mixed layer. Mixed layer depth is small, but the zooplankton biovolume will be high. You know why? Because there is food for them in the surface. That's why their abundance is also high, their biomass is also high. So that's how we can understand the biomass distribution in the vertical ocean. These are some of the pictures we have taken from the Bay of Bengal. The copepods are the major species in the aquatic ecosystem. They're called the grazers of the ocean. Then there are 1,200 different species of these in the Indian Ocean region. And therefore, if you guys are interested in looking at the microscopy and understanding their biology and their beauty, please join Oceanography. These are other different forms of zooplankton. And then we have different gadgets to collect the samples. The one in the bottom rightmost portion is called a grab. The top on the right side is a dredger. And this is a high-speed plankton tow on the left side of your screen. And these are the trawl nets that we use for catching fish. And this is a seine bag in the center of the bottom. Is a large fishing purse seine, we call it, is the one that is used. And like this is a cartoon to tell you, guys, I did not so far tell that photosynthesis is the mother of all reaction in which the carbon dioxide is fixed in the presence of light, and it produces organic molecule plus oxygen. And the respiration, which is done by all of us heterotrophs, is the one that is converting the organic matter and consuming oxygen to produce carbon dioxide and water. So this is the reaction which is happening simultaneously. Now, at one place I mentioned that out of the 70 billion tons of carbon fixed by the plants and on the earth and also in the ocean, 40 billion is coming from the phytoplankton. Look at this. Most plants on the land consume their oxygen during the night time, whereas the phytoplankton give out as much as 8% of their what they produce in excess out into the ocean water, and then which will again escape into the atmosphere when there are cool conditions coming during some kind of a season like this in Punjab. So therefore, be thankful to the phytoplankton, which are doing more service to mankind and atmosphere than what we all can. So this is a cartoon again drawn. Bacteria are the centric in producing the dead organic matter is converted to inorganic nutrients, which are used by the photosynthetic organism, that is phytoplankton. Then bacteria to phytoplankton to zooplankton to nekton. Nekton is the free swimming form of life, and that is the one that we harvest. And therefore, we should be careful in doing that. I don't know how many of you have ever thought of how much money comes from the seafood fishery business. India is estimating to get something like 60,000 crore rupees of annual income from fishing activity from the ocean. But that is maybe small, but more than 3 million people are employed in fishing. And if you look at the shipbuilding, the seagoing cruise, this, that, 3.5 crore Indians are involved in the marine related activities. We have, when you learn the first, second, and third year students, you will learn what are coastal environments, estuarine habitats, coral reef, mangrove ecosystems, oceanic realms, and deep sea habitat. India is blessed with all these different ecosystems, and the one line around the green India map you see in the deep blue is our exclusive economic zone, which is about 2.01 million square kilometers. India is 3.2 million square kilometers plus this 2.01 million square kilometers. If somebody asks you in a GQ, if you go to Kaun Banega Kararpati, and if you ask the question, what is the area of India, you should tell them it is 3.2 on the land, 2.01 on the water. So therefore, we have 5 million square kilometers of the area, which is a great addition. 1/3 of the or 2/3 of the land mass is again coming from there. So the annual fish landings are about 3.5 million tons. It's giving us, as I said, about 10 billion US dollar equivalent. And then there are a lot of problems created by human beings, by greed and catch. The sardine is one of the biggest, fishery, and that has been suffering a great deal. Ideally, we should be catching somewhere around 150 to 150,000 tons of fish. Look at this. From 1997 onwards, we have been catching until 2014 or 2013 more than 150,000, which meant that we were overfishing, and then therefore suddenly in the last 3 years the fish has collapsed and you don't get much. Kerala fishermen, 60% of close to 2 lakh people are, that is 1.2 lakh Kerala fishermen are dependent on the sardine fishery. Imagine if they don't get this fish, what happens? See, I can tell you lots of stories. Because of the time I will not. If the sardine catch is not there, the spices that go to fry curry and also make sort of preparation, their market also goes down because they are the big consumers there. That's how the intertwined economy operates. And then if you allow the fish to breed once, there will be better opportunity for saving the stock. I just in that one statement I want to close. The organisms in the ocean suffer from a complex ecosystem impacts. Therefore, their life is already at great stress. If you go and catch, it's extremely difficult for them to cope up the natural pressure and also the fishing pressure. Therefore, just look at the shrimps or the prawns life stage thing. Some many prawns species mate in about 6 to 30-meter deep water. They produce floating eggs. They hatch in about 15 hours, and then there will be about zooya, metazoa, nauplia stage like that. 16 stages are there. Afterwards, there comes the zooya mysis stage, which are eaten by other fishes. That's why I call it easy prey. Post larva need estuaries. That means they have to go inland to the riverine mouths to be able to grow. And the juveniles move. Juveniles move back something like after 3 to 4 months. Unfortunately, they are caught. Therefore, what they recruit in 1 year, 90% of the catch is finished in the same year. Therefore, that's really, really harsh on them. And then they mature in 5 to 6 months. So older prawns are supposed to produce more eggs. Therefore, they should be allowed to breed once. That is what I said in the last slide. So marine life is not at all in a safe condition. Not only we harvest what we catch and eat, but also the what is called bycatch and trash is much more. The trash is often the organisms that may not be eaten by us, but they're the important ecological role they play in the ocean, decomposing and cleaning up some of the parasites, pathogens, etc. That is all taken away by our fishing methods. I think there are solutions which people should be ready. In the future, the increasing temperature, decreasing oxygen, and decreasing pH, that is increasing acidity, ocean acidification, will be the big problems. People have to understand the biology better to be able to serve well. And ocean resources are plenty around us. I can name plenty of them, and I can come back to tell you each of these resources once again. But what my young students should remember is that ocean, either it's biology or it's chemistry, geology, physics, everything has the fundamental science in it, and there is an applied science in it, there's industrial message in it. Look at the physics, for example. The waves, tides, and thermal gradient energy are the resources to produce renewable energy. And then unfortunately, the challenges like the bad weather and then to find suitable locations is an issue. And then extreme weathers and tsunami and earthquake can damage your installations. That will be the one. The biology, you take a microbe and study, there are food pigments coming from microbes from the sea. You can use them. There are varieties of spirulina, for example, you have heard. All the diatoms and some of those diatoms can be good source of high, mineral-rich nutrients. And then therefore also the challenges like climate change will reduce the growth of these organisms and create problems. We have always been unmindful, exploiting a lot of things. As I told you, in the 200 nautical miles is about 400 kilometers distance from the coast, which means that we cannot guard our ocean. Many people with advanced fishing fleets can come into our waters and poach. That is, thieves come and catch our fish, and that is bad. And there are also some of the algae which form harmful algal blooms that will be killing the fish. Pollution is a big problem, human made, should be in this one. Our primary role should be the conservation of our natural resources. Okay, you see a fisherman selling fish, and you see the India's economic zone, you see a farmer tilling, you see the fisherman net operating in the coast, you see a big cargo ship carrying tank. This one, what do you call the what boxes are they? Containers, and then you have a lot of port and harbor storage here and shipbuilding activity here. Look at this. These are all the opportunities created by the ocean for the economies and the communities and for the land. India has about 7,500 kilometer long coastline, the mainland, and then islands are there, and there are the seawater is a thing. Fisheries is another big resource. Petroleum and minerals, and fishing as an occupation, shipping, shipbuilding, ports, tourism. Goa is famous for its tourists and because of the clean beaches. Hopefully, they remain clean. I don't know what will be the future. With a lot of people are not aware of how to keep the beaches clean, and therefore we can be creating problem. And when the beauty is lost, you don't like to go there. The agriculture economy is driven by the ocean monsoons. And I think I should stop here by showing you this beautiful picture of the Earth's life. So very beautiful. Look at this penguin with their chick that is. And this is a microscopic picture of a fungal spore from a marine species. Within the capsulation are many other zoospores, which will be doing the sexual reproduction. So this is how life is so beautiful and wonderful. I think I should thank you for this. Thank you with the thought that आप लोग हिंदी भी बोल सकते हो, इसलिए दो क्षण समुद्र की संरक्षण के लिए भी सोचो. Thank you. Keep our seas clean is a bacterial bioluminescence based streaking that I did long back. This is my message to the world. No matter where I have spoken, I have shown this, and I hope this sensitizes people. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was a very informative lecture from your side, sir. And during this presentation, also some of the scientists and sirs joined, like Dr. M.N. Benugopal sir, ex-dean, College of Fisheries, Mangalore, Dr. Shiva Kumar sir, and other faculty members also joined. So I welcome on behalf of College of Fisheries, I welcome all of you, sir. And now in this area, I would like to go for some quick questions. Starting,
Manish,
dear students.
Thing?
Yeah. Dear students, now you can ask question to sir.
Sir,
First, you unmute yourself.
Okay. Unmute, Manish.
Sir, namaskar, sir. Dr. Shivan Gowda.
Yes, sir.
Speaking from Adani Power. Your student.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Wonderful. I really enjoyed. It is Kannada ಹೇಳಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ನಮಗೆ overall reputation ಆಯ್ತು. Sir, the gas hydrates. Will you please regarding tell me gas hydrates that I missed a slide.
Okay. Why you want your company to invest in the gas hydrates?
Sir, we are in. I'm in actually Mundra and Mandvi area.
So it doesn't matter. I'm joking. Yeah, it's important. Actually, in Krishna Godavari Basin in the Bay of Bengal, I think I don't know. I rushed through the slide. There is one Joydis resolution slide. I can go back to that, Manish. Slide presentation. Joydis resolution was hired by NIO. Yeah. Thank you, Manoj. I'll just show you that slide for your.
I request host to my unmute my video also because I wanted to show my lab.
Okay. Yeah, Manish, this is in. See, this Joydis resolution came to Bay of Bengal to make at least about 1.5 kilometer deep. I don't want to say exact depth. Deep bore into the Krishna Godavari Basin region. And from there, our scientists, NIO scientists picked up. Wait. It's just
Yes, sir.
minimize.
This slide, I think.
Yeah, this slide.
This slide.
How to minimize that? Yes, only minimize. See this on the bottom slide. You see, it's about 8-inch dia core. It's about a
Yes, sir.
meter in length, and this is found. I don't want to tell because of its confidentiality.
Yes,
What
sir.
kind of thing it is? As I said, 1 cubic meter of this block can give out 165 cubic meters of liquefied natural gas, which can be used. You know, our cylinders get only 16 or 15 kg weight. 165 cubic meter can be, I don't know how much it will be. Honestly, more than at least 10 cylinders. So this is one, and this is highly important resource. We do not know when it can become economically viable to go and look for it. Now that thanks to Modi ji's government, the solar power production is so high, and then maybe we will do away with in the coming years a lot of natural resource-based energy production, and this may take a different route. For example, the technology changing to doing any job of say large-scale cooking, which would be if it is economical, that is. In places like where the charities are feeding thousands of people, or in emergencies like what happened this year, we can be thinking of those alternatives once this is liquefied. I think the Reliance is also is doing through ONGC a partnership to kind of prospect from this, and that much I know, Shivana.
Sir, thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, good.
Thank you,
I
Doctor.
would like you to get back to me on my
Here
number.
also I established a very good lab. So
Okay.
in my,
There you are.
we have
Okay.
everything, sir.
Fantastic.
So as a NIO student, I continued NIO culture over here.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Nice to see this.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You thank the organizers to let you do this.
Yeah,
showing.
it's no
Thank you,
problem.
advisors.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
It
Okay.
is
Okay.
by students, at least they will be aware about it, sir.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
good. Yes. Virtual tour to
Virtual
Shiva's
tour,
lab.
sir. Very good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now I request our students also to
Yeah,
participate.
sure.
Yeah, please, dear students. You can
Sir,
ask.
it was a wonderful presentation. Hello, sir.
Yeah, thank
Dr.
you.
Prabjit, yeah, please.
It was a wonderful presentation, sir. Thank you so much. We are blessed and we are enriched, sir.
Thank you. I mean, anyway, I'm glad it went well. Sorry for that hitch in the connectivity.
No, it
No,
happens,
it's
sir. No
not. It's
problem.
not.
We have
But
this problem in workflow.
finally, मेरी
Yeah.
पत्नी ने मुझे help की कि उसका phone का net data देने के बाद
That is good, sir.
smooth हो गया. देखो sir.
Sir, behind every successful man, there is a woman always, sir. You know.
See, behind this successful presentation, my wife's
Yes,
my
sir.
wife's digital data.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Students, particularly third year students, you have this course.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can ask.
I'll be too delighted to answer
Yeah,
anything that I
There
know.
are some question in chat box, sir.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
How do I open the chat box, Manish?
No,
Okay.
Dr. Jitendra will ask that on behalf
Okay.
of the student.
sir,
Yeah.
the different method for preservation for phytoplankton. Sir. Like,
Very good, very good. Yeah, thank you. See, Dr. Jitendra, I was really running through because of this overall advance. You gave a title for me to talk on advances in oceanography. So advances will not touch on methods much. Even then, I'm glad to answer. I'm very happy the students are interested in understanding that. What we do, there is a thing called Lugol's iodine. If they have a ton of it, and then we can buffer the Lugol's iodine of about 1% in 3% buffered formalin, and very little to be added. Say for about 500 ml, we collect the water sample directly from a Niskin bottle or Nansen's bottle, and put it into a 500 ml plastic polythene bottle, and into which the Lugol's iodine 10% concentration, 2-3 drops are added, so that and then into which about 3% of 2 ml, 2-3 ml, depending on if you or she is not drinking. The formalin is for a fixation. This is the mordant. The iodine is a mordant which will be giving the firmness to the skeleton of the phytoplankton. That's how the Lugol's iodine is added to the preservation. Yes.
Another question is, they ask, what is the role of the remote sensing where the ocean biology can be easily understandable?
Wonderful. The remote sensing is satellite oceanography. So we have. I must tell you here. Thanks the student for this question. Earlier CWIFS was the satellite back in 1978. They put Wide Field Survey, WIFS. Wide Field Survey was the satellite that was sent out, and they collected the data of the surface chlorophyll, mostly based on the spectrophotometric characteristic or the radiometric characteristic of the ocean reflectance. The chlorophyll was filtered through an array of the nanometer bandwidth they choose to screen out the intensity of the strength that comes, based on which they will be saying higher the say absorption at 543 nanometer, that exclusively comes from chlorophyll A, and therefore that is put into saying that this is the strength, therefore this is the concentration in a given region. Now this remote sensing is looking the large area from a single eye, and when you have an angular distribution, you get a wide swath of the area. Say if your satellite is 36,000 kilometers or so on top, from there you beam it up, the entire Earth is seen in one go. And whereas there are the physical oceanographers and these remote sensing guys are very smart. They can enlarge from the micro space to the macro space they want, and from there they really get a huge quantity of analysis done for a thing. So what I want to say is remote sensing is about the satellite oceanography based study, and the chlorophyll pigment concentration is done. And for developing the CUF story is over, I want to tell the most important message to the world, that ocean color monitoring, OCM, a satellite was introduced in 2002 or a little later by India. The Indian satellite image is 100,000 better picture than the previous one, no matter what. Therefore, India's satellite technology is among the best in the world, and we could get such a clear picture of the chlorophyll imaging. It's not only chlorophyll, sea surface height, sea waves, a sudden tsunami progression, and then how the tsunami damages happen. What is the coastal extent of erosion? What is the coastal damage that happens during a cyclone? These are hundreds of applications that comes from the ocean analysis by the remote sensing. So this is how they do it. And one other important point that was rushing in my mind was the National Remote Sensing Agency in Hyderabad are doing commendable job in terms of analyzing the ocean color data to say what could be the future production. Say this monsoon is over, the fishing season is also almost over. By July, August and September, they would predict the chlorophyll pigment concentration for the year that is up to December now. And therefore, people can understand, the policymaker can get an input, like how good is the fish catch that can be possible. The fish catch is not happening to the tune that was happening previously, because we have large number of boats that are coming and catching. not to divert you, Jitendra, your look is for a different question. So in essence, remote sensing has helped, but it has a lot of limitations. It cannot go to deeper than 10 meters and say what is the, see the chlorophyll, funnily, the maximum of it is sitting in the deep chlorophyll maxima, we say. I showed a what is called mixed layer depth, no? Somewhere between that depth of 25 to 30 meter in the Arabian Sea is the maximum chlorophyll concentration. That is missed by the remote sensing.
So one more last question we will take. So
Yes,
like this, the pelagic fishery, the production data, the prediction data, how it is helpful for demersal fishery?
very good. See, this you must understand, the benthic production is also very high. And why it is high is because of the organic matter that settles in is worked on by the bacteria so much that there is also the other the food is eaten by small benthic organisms. They are eaten again by the demersal fish. In that, most of them are carnivores in nature. The benthic form, benthic or demersal fishes. So therefore, there is not a direct relationship, but it will be much less than the pelagic. The pelagic fish is mostly school forming ones. The demersal fish is mostly shoal, the small sized thing. Say Bombay duck is a demersal fish. That will be going through in one particular stream of current, and it has a one group of fishes that can be supported. Because the food is a limitation, the benthic capture is much less compared to what happens on the pelagic realm.
Okay, so thank you so much, sir. We have so many questions. We will get back to you, students and participants. We will be updating you the details. So we are running shortage of time, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
One small thing I want to ask, sir, what are the career opportunities in this field for our students? Can you?
Yes,
Please?
thank you. I mean, in between, I was trying to tell them, see, if your students are interested in doing microscopic work, there is phytoplankton, zooplankton, bacteria, and viruses is also becoming very important now. If they're interested in modeling the mathematically strong background wale logon ko, they can think of opting for say computers based model prediction models. If they're good in chemistry, the pollution analysis, seawater quality analysis, and then also trace gases is the most important new field that is developing. Say the methane, there are many kind of DMS, we call the dimethyl sulfide, DMSP. I mean, there is a lot of those things chemistry can do. The physics, the light measurement in the ocean is a great thing. I worked on bioluminescent bacteria. Now the bioluminescence is becoming an important application in naval applications. And then it is just not in ocean institutions, the fisheries, the banking sector, where the boats and other things are being financed, the net making sector, and there is endless opportunity. Fisheries is one of the most encompassed and beautifully professionally preparing course, and people should keep their mind open. And my dear students, keep your passion ready. If you have chosen to be a fisheries graduate, please contribute your work. There is no job which is great, there is no job which is small. The smallest contribution also counts a great deal in developing some other, it will open windows and opportunities for some other fields. So therefore, don't shy that I am not good and things like that. Be passionate, be committed, be sincere. This will help you a great deal.
Hello, sir. Sir, one small question. Dr. Prabhjit here, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, one small question is that, like, if some of our student in future, like PhD student, of FRM department. We want him to work on certain oceanic parameters. So is it possible that we can take a collaborative research with NIO, or we need to have a memorandum first or something like that? Or we can just take one scientist guide from that institute in our committee? What's the procedure, sir?
Yes, sir. See, Prabjit ji, you are
Yes,
a
sir.
person who has seen the world, and collaboration comes from give and take. Like I said, in oceans it's only give and take. ऐसा नहीं होता है ना?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
हम लोग आप
Okay.
आस-पास में बात करेंगे. आप you drop an email to me with that request, and then you can give this background. I'll forward it to the people in NIO that I know, and also the director. The current director joined after I retired, and really less contact with him, but he's a nice person, I've heard. So we can always be making a link. It's always better to have an institutional mechanism for any of this, because you're coming from a long distance, and it's important that people get to understand you are not very far from, say, Indus mouth. If you want to do some assurine measurements and things like that, people should, I'm sitting in the center of Karnataka. I never had seen an ocean before. And just because I have not seen the ocean, I should not be an oceanographer. So people can pick up and do their interest.
Right, sir. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sure, you drop me that mail, I'll forward.
Okay, sir. Fine,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Jitendra Kumar has my email address.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Any other question from faculty also, please? If not, then
Any student want to interact personally also? they
yeah.
can-
The email ID and phone number is also with us.
Yes.
And then if not any other question, then I request Dr. Jitendra for formal vote of thanks.
Wow, look at this, my picture. Wow. Wow.
Dr. Jitendra, please.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you,
That's
Ramaiah,
it.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, thank you once again. Good morning once again to all the participants. And first of all, I thanks to Almighty God for making this function as a great success. And I'm really thank you for giving chance to extend my vote of thanks on behalf of Guru Angad Dev Veterinary Animal Science University College of Fisheries, Ludhiana, sir. We express our sincere thanks to Dr. Ramaiah's answer, is the former head and chief scientist department of biological oceanography, the CSI RNI Goa, on enlightening us on advances in oceanography and marine biology. And the today's webinar was full of knowledge and inspiring things, and it gave a very interesting and relevant information for interesting facts. And the NIO, that the slogan, it is very like lighting the understanding the sea. And today sir was pointed about like different layers of the oceans, which was will be very useful for our BFSC graduate. And he's also pointed out like India having the 7th position in the oceanography in the world, which is very proud moment for our Indians. As well as he has pointed out the importance of the phytoplanktons, synoptic view of the chlorophyll, that was a very interesting fact, the significance of the zooplanktons, and the interesting about the sardine landing, where is the it was very interesting, the graph. And he also pointed out the different areas where having the opportunity for more research. I'm pretty sure that the precious information, the knowledge that you have gave us, sir, will definitely help our students. Thank you, sir, for enlightening us, for with us, with your inspiring and motivational word. We have a lot to learn from you, sir. Once again, I would like thanks to Dr. Ramaiah and sir for taking our time for his busy schedules and enlightening us with the knowledge. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. See, is that fair to say that Sat Sri Akal to me? Yes, Sat Sri Akal. Thank you, all of you, and all the very best in your future endeavor. I wish that you guys do some outstanding work and contribute to the growth of fisheries in the country and
Thank
become
you,
a part
sir.
of the world.
Sir, anybody can say Sat Sri Akal. Let me tell you the meaning. Sir,
Yeah,
Sat Sri Akal means God is truth.
God is truth. No, in the sense, is it the right time? Like,
Yes, sir.
anytime?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can, sir. This greeting can be used anytime.
Anytime. Thanks a lot, Prabhjit ji. Very nice meeting you. God bless you. May you have a
Thank you,
very
sir.
successful college there.
Okay, just I'll complete it within 1 minute. I would
Yeah.
also like to respected our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Inderjit Singh, sir, Dean College of Fisheries, Dr. Meera D. Ansal, Madam, Dean College of Veterinary Science, Dr. S.P.S. Gumman, sir, and Dr. Vinit Inder Kaur, Madam, is College of Fisheries IDP Coordinator, for giving permission to organize this webinar and also providing fund from ICR IDP National Agriculture Higher Education Project, which helps to conduct this webinar. I would also like thanks to organizing secretary Dr. S.N. Datta sir for providing a platform where we interacted, and also I'm very much thankful to Miss Amandeep Kaur madam for making all the arrangement from the initiation to till now for making event this successful. Finally, I thank to all the participants, my students, my colleagues, and respected dignitaries who joined during the session, who present here for paying attention and spending time, valuable time with us. I would end my speech here by thanking once again all.
Thank you, Dr. Jitendra, for your
Thank
nice
you
word.
so much.
Hmm.
Yes. Thank you, guys. Dattaji, thanks.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
God bless you all.
Namaskar. Thank
Just I want to say one screen, sir. When I was with you, sir.
Yeah, you have saved. I'm not good in keeping the history, but I'm glad that you shared this and we
Dr.
reconnected.
Jitendra,
And
you can send this picture to sir. Yeah.
Okay, there you are.
And
Thanks.
so this is
Thank you, thank
actually we used to take our students for
yes, Kochi.
Kochi. We used to every year we used to take there, sir. Last year I took students and it was a very grateful session, sir.
The good that I think Dr. Our presently that time it was Dinesh Kumar was the in charge.
Yeah, sir. Yeah.
So we met him. They are very good people. And
Yeah.
guys are really nice.
Very nice, sir. It was. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll close my screen.
Yeah,
Okay,
please.
sir. Yeah,
Thank you.
please.